What's up, everyone? FANCRAFT. That's right, it's Bo here, and we are back on FANCRAFT with a lot of stuff going on. So as you know, last week we laid the groundwork for the JEDI Temple, and it is still there, and it is still looking very nice and very, well, let's just be real, intimidating. Now, what is this little part over here, you might ask? Actually, it's pretty self-explanatory. I've been trying to figure out the measurements for what should be the pyramid, and I thought I had everything measured out, and now I'm just not sure. Like, okay, so we talked about this, right? There's a lot of different takes on the JEDI Temple in terms of what it should be height-wise. Some, it's much more kind of taller and kind of elongated, and others, it's a lot more like a squash down. I say squash down, more like a true pyramid that's like sliced into like a third, I would kind of put it at. So yeah, so there's kind of a question I have as to whether or not I want it to be this tall or taller. So let's just mess around and see what we come up with, right? Let's see what looks right. Now that one in the background has kind of like a 3 up for each one, and then there should be 12 segments in total. What I'm thinking is, what if we tried to do more of like a 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. That feels right, I think. That's pretty good. We want it kind of tall and daunting. And I'm worried that the other way is just a little bit too short. This is rough because it's really more about feeling than anything else. Like by comparison, that one feels a little shorter, and that's okay. I mean, again, that might actually be more accurate when it's all said and done. That, like, again, there is no right. We're just feeling it out. That's all we're doing. We're just feeling it out. The other factor, too, is that the tower needs to be pretty tall given how wide it is, which that dimension is going to be up. So I'm leaning towards this. You may disagree with me, and that's okay. You may disagree with me, and that is okay. But I think for now, we're going to try it. Let's do all the corners like that and take a look and see how it looks. Okay, yeah, that actually looks right. I was nervous about this, but now that I see it in context, I think this is good. So just to kind of give you a sense of like where my headspace is, normally what I do is I mock up everything in a creative world, except I almost never finish it. Like I get kind of a general concept together, and then I don't waste time actually building it out all the way. I just kind of confirm that some things work right, and then I just kind of get to it here in creative, or not in creative, in survival. And this is different from my measurements and my creative, but everything should still work out. Like the top portion, like the parameters, the math should still add up so that that's all the same. And this just gives it a little bit more of a little taller, kind of, we're going with a little bit of a taller version, but given, okay, you just gotta trust me, right? Like that's the thing. You gotta trust me with this. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. But this is kind of stressing me out for the moment. So we're going to take a break. We're going to take a break, and we're going to work on something else. Now, here's the thing. You might be wondering to yourself, like, Bo, look, these big team builds, why do you break these up over multiple episodes? And the reason is because, for one thing, it's something that we all like to work on together. So, for example, there's different jobs that need to be done throughout a big team build. But the other factor is, especially with something like this, we just need a ton of blocks. Like, we need so many resources that we just don't have. And that's going to take a lot of grinding. And as you can see, the grind is already on. There's been some massive grindage that has been happening from that standpoint. But regardless, we've still got a long way to go. But that's all right. We'll get it all together. I have no doubt. It's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. Well, we're not done with this today. We're going to come back to this. But as I mentioned, whilst also working on that, I wanted to do and kind of revisit some projects in the Marvel District. Ah, yes, our glorious web engineering building thing. There was a term for this, and I can't remember what it is. Anyway, this is great. I'm very pleased with how this turned out, and based on the views, it seems like you guys are as well. So thank y'all so much for those of you who've seen that video and have shared that around and all that kind of good stuff. I think this has the added benefit of not just being Marvel, but also being like inspired from a real life Disneyland attraction. And so I think that's really cool, and I'm glad that we're able to bring it here to the Marvel District. But there's some things you might not know about our web building, at least not the one here on FANCRAFT, and that is that not only does this thing sell web, or at least in theory, but it also serves another personal purpose for me, which is that if we go back here, it's a mob farm. It's a mob farm. I've got a mob farm going back there. I don't know if it's going to render correctly, but it's very good. It works really well. So whenever anybody's in the Marvel District, it's getting me drops, and that has been very helpful, specifically for my gunpowder. It has basically been my main supply of gunpowder this season. But the actual storefront definitely needs a facelift. Speaking of which, it kind of looks like a face with like the two eyes and like the nose. Oops. 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. Yeah, this just doesn't look good. What I really want is for this building and for kind of the actual shop itself to feel like there's more life going on here and really kind of capture the same type of feeling you get when you actually go into the web facility at Disneyland. Now, granted, this is not going to accomplish that at all, but I think we can kind of do some things to change it up in here and make it a little bit better. Oh, okay, y'all, this is amazing. We're about to see the most rarest thing ever. It appears we have in the wild Fox working on his large build. Fox is actually, I mean, we know, and we've seen the results. He's been out here. He's been doing the work over the last couple of weeks, and it's there still. Actually, this is pretty huge because he's been main reason he has not finished this thing up has been that he does not have warped stem, and he clearly does now. So that's pretty great. Sneak away. What is he doing? He's studying his warped wood. He doesn't. I don't think he knows that that I boxed him in yet. Okay, this is supposed to be like a quick prank, but now he's like just AFKing. I don't know what's going on. He's just standing there looking at the box. Okay, you know what, Fox? This is happening. Boom, 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 boom. He must have gone AFK. That's fine. That's fine. We're gonna just plant flowers on top of him is what we're gonna do. We're gonna grow berries. Mm-hmm. Yep. Just gonna grow some berries up here. Nice little berry bushes. There you go. Ah, there he is. Okay, so as I was saying, we're going to be doing a little bit of work here on the web facility. And the whole purpose is that we want to give this thing some life, some action, really kind of give that lived feel and bring some of the spirit of the ride into this portion here. And ironically, that is going to mean bringing it in perhaps a little bit, or maybe not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be different. We just need to kind of like just tear everything down in order to build it back up. Now, with kind of this back area that you see over here, I'm planning on dropping some redstone and specifically some redstone rails so that we can have some different carts that are moving back and forth with a little bit of like a window right here that you can look in and see that something is happening. What exactly? We don't know. Let's just science. You know, that's what's happening. Science is happening. I've tried this a couple of different ways. Like at one point I had a bunch of like paintings hanging up. I don't even know if that ever made like a video in the background, but like I had some different paintings hanging up with kind of like a little Spider-Man statue with the mindset that, you know, maybe Peter was here and he was working on something and you had all these different monitors that were monitoring what was going on, but it just really didn't accomplish what I was hoping for. This is kind of a bit of a tough build from that standpoint. All right, we're just gonna bring this all in. We're just gonna bring it all in. Start with a full campus. Now, here's the other thing too: is I did think it would be kind of cool to have a little bit of a ride incorporated in some of these builds, especially here in the Marvel District. I've got a concept for the PIM building, which is good because like the PIM building has literally nothing in it right now. And at one point, I thought it would be kind of cool to do that here, but with the mob farm being next door, oops, I'm not quite ready to give that up. I kind of need those drops still. And I don't really have another good place to put it. You know what I mean? Like I could figure out some means of putting a mob farm back behind my base, but then I'd have to light up the entire mountain. And I feel like that would be kind of a little bit of a distraction, especially when you're in the city at night. So I don't really want to do that. Okay, now one thing that will need to be done is we're going to need a place to store, obviously, our stuff that we're selling. And for now, we're gonna kind of keep it simple, right? Like we're gonna put that there, boom, and then we'll throw some of this over here. The funny thing is, normally when you see like cobwebs like this in a in a chest, it typically means like there's literally nothing in it. It's just completely empty. Okay, and we'll put another one right there. Okay, that's good. And so yes. That there, throw that there, and I think that is pretty good. I think. Yes. Now the funny thing is we're actually going to be shrinkening. We're going to be bringing in the walls a little bit, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So, and the mindset is it gives us more room back here to play with redstone wise if we want to do something kind of crazy or fun. But sometimes by making the canvas that you're working with smaller, it actually makes it a lot easier to give details because you don't have so much blank canvas that you just have to fill up, right? And so it can make it feel a lot more lived in and have a lot more kind of fun things happening. And actually, I do want to keep the red and blue motif going in here. Now, I actually do like the conveyor belt, like the kind of faux conveyor belt that we've had back here, but I think I want to make it look even more as if something's happening. Like it probably won't move, but we can probably give more of like that idea that things are moving just based off of placement of the chests and where they're going. Like give kind of a destination to them as well. Okay, so we need our window. This is kind of the center. Shaboom, shaboom, shaboom. Now, one thing I've kind of thought about, especially as I revisit some of these old projects, is just the process of just doing the building and the designing. Like, you know, sitting here making the video as I'm doing this and kind of sharing my thoughts out loud as I go. But with this, there's no need for like a time lapse. You know what I mean? Like we don't need to jump into the building or anything like that for this, because a lot of this is really just kind of like train of thought. You know what I mean? Just kind of like working it out as we go along. And it's more of a discussion. So I've kind of wondered, would this actually be kind of cool or better as a streaming video as opposed to doing it, you know, kind of in this recorded and edited way? Like if I like jumped on Twitch while I was working on some of these projects, is that something that y'all would be interested to see? Let me know. It might be kind of cool. Something like the PIM building is so boring to look at right now. It needs so much work and I just don't know what to do. So it's going to be so much trial and error that I'm thinking that might just be kind of fun to jump on stream and just see what happens. Maybe even do a little, I don't know. I shudder to say design by committee, but to some extent, maybe design by committee. Okay, so now our room is decidedly smaller. We have done that. That has happened. And I want the conveyor belt. Maybe is it too low if it's here? That's the big question. I don't think so. I think that's right. I think if we do it, oops. Okay, so something like that. We now have the conveyor belt here and going. We'll want to suspend this from the roof. Should be easy enough. Oops, assuming I actually line these up correctly. There we go. And like I said, we want to kind of give the sense that our like crates up here are going to be in motion. So I'm thinking what we do is we kind of have it so that they're literally in motion. Like, well, not literally in motion, but like so that like one of them is kind of like coming through here. For one thing, we're going to face them all going in this direction to kind of imply that this is the direction they're going in. And then, yeah, maybe something like that. Now that obviously can't be opened up because it's leaving, but yeah, look at that. Look, just by facing them in this direction and putting some through the walls like that, instantly it already communicates that something is happening, that there's like action going on here. We may even put some item frames in front of these with what they might hold, but instead of putting them here, we might put them here. So that could be kind of cool. I've wanted to include things like spider eyes in here. Honestly, I just don't have that many to sell, but I think that would be kind of cool to potentially add. To break up the monotony just a tad, maybe. With some bricks here and there and over here. Maybe over here-ish. Boom, boom. For that matter, we actually probably want to do some of this too, where we kind of break up this monotony more. All right, good. Okay, so this gives it more of like a warehouse type feel, but I think that's kind of fine. Like this is already something of a loading bay, as it were, with the door and everything else kind of going in over here. So I think that works out pretty good. But the main thing is we want this window here to really kind of catch some attention. So this is where the fun redstone is going to come into play. Okay. All right. Hopefully the white won't like pop too much, but I'm thinking we do like one cart going around here. Right? And another probably going, yeah, we'll put them like one degree of separation and maybe make this one kind of longer so that it's got a little bit more of like a tail on it. I think that could work. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so we put one here. Oh, I'm going to need 4 of these. Okay, yes. So one here, another one over here. Don't think that's going to mess this up. It might mess this up, but we won't know until we see. I'm just now realizing I'm going to need another one of these powered rails. But for the moment, we can go ahead and lay down the track. And right there. Okay, that's good. That's good. We're going to get our carts here. Although first, let me just look. Is the white going to throw things off? Or maybe that's good because like this is white. Maybe that's actually not a bad thing. Because it kind of adds to the kind of the conveyor belt look. Okay, all right, that's not terrible. I'm okay with it. All right, we put one here. And we put one here. Oh, no. I forgot that with this add-on, it puts a bunch of little red dots around hoppers. But that might not be... I don't even think you'll notice that. Yeah, you won't notice that from here. Okay, cool. Look at this. Okay, great. Okay, so as you can see, you've got kind of a lot of life going on. I wonder if... Okay, all right. I'm questioning that cart, though, the hopper. Do we really want the bounce to happen where we can see it, or should we actually put it further? I'm thinking we put it further. Yeah, that's better. That's way better. Way better. Okay. Oh, that looks so great. It gives the illusion that there's actually way more carts there because of the timing of each. You know what I mean? Like it feels randomized. I guess it's technically not, but I didn't do the math, so might as well be randomized to me. I have no earthly idea like the timing of each, but it does kind of give that illusion that there's more of them out there than there actually are. So I think that's great. I think that adds a lot to it. Now the next question is, I guess we could really just kind of fill this up with black concrete, maybe, or actually just kind of stone might be good. Just kind of like a stone background might help. Although I don't think I want it right up against it. I think I would want it more like right here. That'd be good. Now, I've got one other idea for kind of creating life in this space, and that is through the use of redstone lamps, pressure plates. Redstone lamps, pressure plates, and chickens. And the idea is that we line up some lights here, and we kind of put a chicken around here so that it kind of moves around a bit from time to time and then kind of gives the sense that, the lights are kind of flickering, like something is happening in the background. This is my thought. It is more of a theory than anything else. But I did something kind of like that with the TIE Bomber when we had our big Mandalorian throwdown. So I think this can work. Of course, just because I think this could work does not mean that it will work. But it'd be a lot cooler if it did. Okay, and I'll tell you what, since we've got this, if we did it kind of like I don't guess we want them always there, but right? I think that's right. Yeah, and you wouldn't be able to see up. Okay, I don't need just a ton of chickens or anything like that, but I do need maybe 2 would probably be good. All right, come on, get lucky. Get lucky. Get lucky. Get lucky. Get lucky. Get lucky. Yes! Ha-ha! Get lucky, get lucky, lucky, lucky. Yeah, there you go. All right, we got 2 in there. And I think if I do this, they can't get out. Why is that guy right there? Okay. Maybe as babies, they can get out. Oh, no. That's not what I wanted. Okay. Well, we will fix that right away. We know there's at least... See? All right, it's already starting to work. You can kind of see yep, it's kind of going around. Okay, good. That is what we wanted. All right, let's get this wall built. Okay, all right. So we now go in here and yeah, there's kind of some flashing lights here and there. That's kind of cool. We do still need to make sure that this is like mob proof. So I'm just kind of thinking through that as well. We'll need to do something from that standpoint. All right, so we've lit up the room and I think this is pretty good. The roof does not look good. It doesn't look good. Okay, that's better. Yeah, that's definitely better. I'm not going to lie. It still kind of feels like something's missing a little bit, and I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if it's like wall detail or something of that nature, or if it's like a carpet of some sort, but I don't know. It feels like it needs like 1 or 2 more things. All right. I'm going to do a little tinkering. We'll see what we can come up with. I'm also going to get some sleep because this is a dangerous storm that we have found ourselves in. Oh, I think I did it. I think it looks good. I think it looks pretty good. Look at this. This is great. So I added a whole second conveyor belt, obviously on the top. I created kind of some pipes going back and forth. I got some webs kind of around the place. Now, this is kind of cool because like at the ride, you'll see that there's like been web experiments. So there's like, different, just little web blasts all over the place. And so that I think really adds to the whole experience. Also communicates what you got for sale here. And yeah, I think we did it. But that's not all. You may notice a little bit of green paint on the wall behind me. That is because I also added some general kind of like suggested graffiti around the front portion of the build as well. Now, I maintained kind of the Miles graffiti on the side here, so it's a little cleaner. I may kind of scuff that up and, with like painting some stuff over that. Again, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure, but I think for now I'm going to keep it as is. I also upgraded the tubes and kind of the ventilation with these little light fixtures. I think that's really good. In the ride itself, or rather even outside of the ride itself, you'll see kind of vents and occasionally like these little spider bots will crawl through them. And so that's kind of meant to communicate that. And then one last thing I did is I kind of gave a little bit of curvature to the edge. This has been something that's kind of bothered me since I actually built the thing. And that is like, it's kind of like I built it for memory, essentially. I had like a little bit of a reference image, and then I kind of just went at it. But then the problem was I realized almost immediately afterwards that while there is a little bit of hard edge here and there, for the most part, there's not. And especially on the corner right here, we needed to kind of, the hard edge was a problem. So this was a little bit of an irritation, to be honest, to do. I had to bump out this wall further, which caused kind of a temporary setback on the mob farm inside. Fortunately, no mobs were lost, and more importantly, I never died during it. So yeah, that's good. I also bumped over the web sign a little bit to the left, and honestly, I think it looks better. I think it looks better closer to the logo than it did before. So ultimately, this upgrade is really, really solid, long overdue, and looking really good. Actually, I love it. I love the carts in here and kind of the flickering lights. I think this just turned out absolutely great. And I feel empowered, I feel empowered to go back on some of these builds and just do some different things with them, upgrade them. And honestly, given the fact that I'm in debt already with the bank to try to acquire new land in Central City, yeah, I think this is a good route to go in for right now. But let me know your thoughts. Do you like the web facility? Do you think that this is the right upgrade? What are some things that you would change if you could? Let me know. I would love to hear that in the comments below. And hey, look at this. We're getting some progress here. Fox has, in fact, been hard at work on the Sanctum, and it's looking really good. It's looking really good. Can't wait to see what the final product is. My bet is by the time we get to our next video, that will be done. This is my guess. And the reason why is because these guys. I've been banking some content. Because as I record this, I am actually about to be out of the country for about 2 weeks. Yeah, that's right. I'm be gone for about 2 weeks. And I figured this is actually the perfect time to take a little bit of a break. Now, for you wonderful people who are viewing this, there will be no breaking content for you. In fact, I will probably by the time this goes out, I will be back from Ireland, which is where I'm going to be, and already recording next week's episode and all that kind of good stuff. So don't worry, I'll be back next week. You don't have to worry about that. But given the fact that in IRL I'll be gone for 2 weeks, I figure this is the perfect opportunity to update the jib board with the very obvious jib, which is that we need to fill in the walls of the Jedi pyramid here. I keep saying pyramid. I think what's implied is that it's the base of a pyramid and they cut off or destroyed whatever the original Sith portion was to build up the Jedi towers on top. That's all lore. What's important right now is that we just need these walls built up around the framework that I have created. Hopefully it's easy for them to understand. I kind of started working on one, and maybe just to play it safe, I'll just do a little bit of work on the next side as well so that it's kind of clear. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. I think it's pretty clear what needs to be done. Hopefully that'll be a good enough example so that they'll kind of figure it out. And yeah, it's a lot of placing blocks. It's a lot of placing blocks. It's a lot of placing bricks, and it's going to require a lot of materials. There we go. But that's why we have a jib board in the first place. So, okay, I've rearranged our jib board here. We've got on hold the Avengers interior. That is just, we're just going to wait on that, okay? Can't even see it from here. If somebody wants to work on that, they're more than welcome to, but it is not a priority because our priorities are right here. Fill in the outlined area of the Jedi Temple walls. Each layer is 4 blocks high. Send questions on Discord. And then the kind of the main items to gather to complete this is right here. So will the fan crafters do all of the hard work while I'm in Ireland? Only time will tell. Only time will tell. Hopefully it'll be great. But speaking of great, this looks great. I'm very pleased with the latest upgrade to the web facility. I'm very pleased with all of the updates to the Jedi Temple, and I'm very pleased with all of you for tuning in and sticking around this long. Hey, if you are doing so, be sure to like the video. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking and enjoying about this season. And yeah, if you want all that good stuff, that's the thing to do. Like, subscribe, the things that people on YouTube tell you to do. That's what you should do. That's going to do it for me for today. But until next time, goodbye.